Hello there, and welcome to the TruePopCulture7 Show. I'm your host, TruePop, and with me today we'll be discussing all things pop culture. Today's topics are Rings of Power. I've watched the first two episodes, so I'll be discussing that a little bit. I've also watched the new, quote unquote, version of Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version. To be honest, I don't see what was more fun about it, but that's neither here or there. I'll also be discussing a bit about Bullet Train. It's an average movie. It was fine. I went and saw that as well. Um, as well as for any other topics, I guess I'll have to see if anything comes up to mind. We should be streaming for maybe an hour or so. So yeah, this is out of the blue live stream, very experimental. So apologies if I have any technical difficulties or any such thing. This is my first live stream after all. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. So bear with me if I make any mistakes. All right, let's get on topic. Let's get the topics on hand. First, I wanted to discuss the No Way Home or Fun Stuff edition because that's, I think, the most fresh thing in my mind. Uh, right, let me just figure out how to um, share screen. Okay, there we go. Spider-Man No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff edition. So, yeah, I've seen this extended quote unquote edition of the Spider-Man movie. Uh, Look, I really liked this movie, uh, the theatrical release at least. I've seen this movie 4 times in the cinemas. The fourth one was this version. So supposedly this is 11 minutes longer. Didn't really feel the 11 minutes in the cinema. Uh, I really was expecting at least a interaction between Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Green Goblin, at least a line for them. But this extended cut of the film didn't feature anything whatsoever like that. I was severely disappointed, to be honest. Uh, right, so True Pop, what did this extended edition have in it? Well, it had a bit of comedy, quote unquote, with Spidey and his schoolmates, which I really hate. Uh, I think like Betty Brant did additional interviews with other students. Uh, it was supposed to be funny, but I think I laughed more at my granddad's funeral than at the comedy in these high school scenes. I don't know. Maybe the John Watts really likes the high school kids. I just I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't laugh for a single second at those comedic scenes. So most of the added footage was that. Uh, the quote unquote comedic scenes in high school. I do like the coach. Someone asked him like, How did you not know that your student was superhuman powered?" And he was like, "This is a science high school. Uh, 2 push-ups is considered superhuman." So that was kind of funny. It's the only joke I laughed at the new scenes. What else did they add? Not much, really. There's on Twitter, there's these articles going around that they added uh, 20 more lines to the Toby and Andrew conversation. 20 lines. That's meant to imply that it's a lot. It really isn't. You could barely tell that they added new lines. What else? They also added a new Daredevil scene. He only says like 2 more additional lines, which is again, it's not a new scene. They didn't add much. Essentially, what what these guys did, whoever was behind the scenes, they said, No Way Home's made so much money. We should re-release it though to make more money. But what can we do? You know, there's a bit of stuff we cut at the bottom of the barrel. Maybe we could just throw those in there and release it. Call it a extended edition, quote unquote. It's. I'm sorry to say, but it's a cash grab. I was really hoping for it to add something more substantial, but it really didn't. There was a nice scene at the beginning, like a thank you from uh, Toby and Andrew, which was nice, I guess, like the best part of the extended cut. But aside from that, I'd just recommend you guys buy the Blu-ray with deleted scenes and such. Don't see this film. It's a waste of money. Uh, yeah, these extended versions usually are cash grabs, but there are extended versions that are better. Uh, I I'm hearing that the Lord of the Rings extended editions are better than the theatricals. I wouldn't know. I haven't watched them. Let's see what other extended editions are better. I know BVS was terrible, but I think the Ultimate Edition was better than the theatrical edition. So whilst I was entering the cinema for this, I was hoping for a at least better movie with some more interactions of the scenes that everyone loved uh, between the Spider-Mans. But I didn't really get that. Uh, yeah, they just it's a cash grab. What can I say? It didn't really enhance the movie in any particular way. Uh, I think that about does it for the more fun stuff version. Moving on to, I guess, what everyone came here for, which is my thoughts on Rings of Power. Hang on, give me a second. You can tell this is my first live stream. uh, there we go. Nice little image there. So, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Before I give my thoughts on this show, I've seen the 2 episodes on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I know, I gave them the click, but I can't be asked pirating it. I know I probably should pirate it to not give them the numbers. But you guys out there, listeners out there, pirate the thing. Don't give Amazon the views. So anyway, before I get into my thoughts of the show, I wanted to give a little context. I don't know much. I'm not a Uber Tolkien expert. Uh, I've read the Hobbit book, which I really liked back in high school. I love the Hobbit. It's there's something so fascinating about Bilbo entering the Dragon's Cave. I think that's the moment where I was most hooked. It's really fairy tale like. I really enjoyed. The Hobbit trilogy. I think I watched a bit of the first one, and I watched Battle of the Five Armies in cinemas, so it's kind of random. I know. Uh, and what else did I? I saw a bit of the first Lord of the Rings movie. Never watched it in full, and I think at some point I must have watched the third Lord of the Rings movie, Return of the Kings, because I remember. I think I must have watched it as a kid because I remember Gollum biting someone's finger off for the ring, and that traumatized me as a little kid. Just like uh, rocking back and forth. Just hugging my finger. No, please don't bite my finger off. It's the only thing I remember. Uh, Probably shouldn't watch that at a young age. But my point is, I don't know much about Lord of the Rings in general. So I came to this show as a complete noob, complete normie. And I've heard a lot of praise about Tolkien. I've heard a lot of praise about the movies. Tolkien is essentially peak fantasy, peak mythology. Uh, every fantasy book you've probably read, it's like, oh, I was inspired by Tolkien's work, blah, 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 blah. That's probably the inspiration. So I went into this, I don't know, mid expectations. I was hoping to see something good. I didn't really. Apparently, to be honest, I was bored watching through it. It didn't really hook me in. I found the characters, well, what can I say? Boring, really. Right. So apparently they've spent a huge amount of money on this, and I have to admit, like, let's get the good stuff out of the way. This show is visually beautiful. You can tell where they spent the money, and that's on the visuals of the film. Uh, it was really pleasant to look at. Uh, but what I kind of saw what the budget was lacking is they could have if they spent so much money on this show, they could have hired better actors. Uh, because as I think it was on Friday Night Tights, someone said these actors are like community theatre actors. They're not really the most talented of the bunch. They're kind of very exaggerated, especially the hobbits. You feel like you're watching theatre, not an actual uh, show. And apologies to theatre nerds. I mean like a cheap theatre nerd. Uh, so the characters they didn't really hook, and that's a problem because if you don't have interesting characters, why am I watching the show? You have this Gladriel character who's out there looking for the big villain of the show, and everyone else is disagreeing with her. Oh, this bad guy. I'm forgetting his name. Sauron? Yeah, Sauron. Jeez. Uh, Galadriel is looking for this Sauron everywhere, and everyone's telling her, "You're wrong to look for her. He's probably not there anymore." But like, it's show. To the show. I'm not an idiot. I know the big bad is obviously still out there somewhere, and Galadriel's probably right, and everyone else is wrong. You know, me knowing that makes it kind of boring to watch. Like, if there was some kind of tension, like, oh, but is he out there or isn't he out there, or is Galadriel uh, on this revenge vendetta? Does she is damaging to her? No, the show kind of treats it. Yeah, she's right. Everyone else is wrong. That's the kind of impression I got from her. Uh, and it kind of weirded me out. The supposed wizard uh, landing in Middle Earth, I guess, near the hobbits. Apparently, it's Gandalf, which I'm like, okay, why do wizards fall from stars? I felt like he didn't kind of explain that. Like that's kind of weird. So are they like angels or what? I didn't kind of understand why this old man fell from a star. I was kind of confused by that. Uh, but anyway, it's apparently Gary from Nerdrotic says it's Gandalf, but apparently they don't have the rights to have Gandalf in their show, so it's probably Gandalf, but not really Gandalf. Wink, wink. Uh, which is kind of funny to be honest. Uh, yeah, he's very weird. Eating snails whole. That was kind of. I know it's a fantasy show, but it's kind of uh some aspects I kind of find weird, kind of unexplained. Like especially like the falling star. And there was this other moment where the elves were essentially on some kind of boat, and they were kind of like singing in robes. Like what the hell was that about? I was confused. Like maybe I'm just not keeping the track of the show because most of the time I was hand over my mouth and looking at the time. Oh God, it's been only 10 minutes and nothing's really hooked me in. Uh, what did hook me in was the I think his name is Elrond. I'm not sure. He was going to the dwarf castle. I think I found that part the most interesting. Uh, I'm guessing elves do live for a long time in here, and like the dwarf friend was essentially arguing with the elf. Oh, it's been 20 years, and you haven't even come to my wedding. You haven't even come to my son's birthday, and I found that part interesting uh, to listen to. Like that's fascinating. That elves live for such a long time, and they miss out on essentially what's going on in the world. Uh, which I found interesting, and I kind of liked. Uh, I kind of liked the wife and husband dynamic where Elrond kind of meets them, sits at the table. Uh, yeah, ironically, like probably the most um, uneventful uh, scenes. The most uneventful scene of the show is that I don't know why I liked it. I think I was just interested in that the most because I don't know. The wife had some chemistry with the husband dwarf, and Elrond was kind of like teasing them as well. I found yeah, Disa was the best character. Yes, yeah, exactly. Uh, I'm trying to think what else. This show is so forgettable that I'm forgetting what happens in it. I'm trying to recall specific details of what I liked and didn't like, or what I didn't understand. Uh, I do remember listening to Friday Night Tights and Mola talking about this with Shadiversity of the stupidity of Gladriel jumping in the ocean, and that didn't really occur to me because I didn't really get like a. I guess this show doesn't really hold you by the hand about its world building or anything like that. Uh, at some particular points. But sometimes they do it too often. Like when I think his name is Durin. He's a Durin. Uh he challenges Elrond to like a rock smashing contest and he like repeats it like 5 times. And if you lose, you will be banished. Like, okay, okay. And then they say it again, oh, and if you lose, you'll be okay, I get it. You've said that 3 times already. Uh So at some moments, the show does like hold you by the hand. Okay, this is this, but sometimes it doesn't. Like the ocean scene. I don't know why they were on this little boat wearing these white robes. I think they were going to their homeland, but I'm not entirely sure. Uh, anyway, Galadriel jumps in this ocean, and what did she not really think that far ahead of swimming all the way to another continent? I don't know what the writers were thinking with that. Maybe They weren't thinking at all. Uh, so she swims to this raft, which is lucky, to be honest. In this vast ocean, she found a raft to get on board on, and then it gets eaten by some big shark. I didn't know there were sharks in Tolkien's world. I don't remember anything in The Hobbit like that, or anything like that in particular. Uh, and essentially, yeah, she's probably going to go to the other continent. Luckily, somehow. Uh, I wanted to talk about the first scene as well. There was this scene where she was giving like this monologue, essentially. Uh, she was given this monologue from her brother, and I wanted to enjoy that monologue. I kind of like the idea of an older brother giving wisdom to her sister, but the monologue was nonsensical. Do you know what's the difference between a a the ocean and the rock, or something like that, or was it a paper rock or something like that? A difference between uh, the water and the rock, and it's just like, well, a rock is like kind of round, solid. Uh, those comparisons don't work really. Uh, I understand what they were going for, but it's just poor execution uh, on them. It's a shame because I did want to like I liked this kind of brotherly and sisterly dynamic, but it didn't really give us that. Uh, so this monologue like replays as she jumps into the ocean. Yeah, difference between a stone and a boat. Yes, yes. Thank you, chat. Uh, that's yeah. There's kind of a lot of big differences between a stone and a boat. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Uh, a stone doesn't swim, you bloody idiot, is what the Gladiel should have responded to him. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, what you could work on the metaphor here. So they essentially replay this monologue as she jumps into the ocean, and I'm like, the audience could have probably figured out. If you showed like flashes of the brother and then her jumping into the ocean, that would have made more sense. You don't need to replay the whole. Yeah, I get it. The brother talked about oceans, so she's jumping in the ocean. But even bearing that in mind, it's nonsensical that she would jump in this ocean. I thought she had some sort of plan as she was jumping in it. And it's no, she got lucky in finding a raft. I think that's the biggest. It's probably the biggest flaw in the show. The stupidity of her uh, going into the ocean. Uh, what other scenes did I want to mention? Uh, see, it's I'm struggling to think of anything that sticks out in my mind. This show was kind of a blur. You could sleep through it, which is a shame because I've heard so much good stuff about Tolkien's work. I've heard so much good things about the Lord of the Rings movies. I will watch them eventually. The extended editions eventually. The cave scene was bad. Yes, yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. Thanks for mentioning that, chat. The cave scene. There was a line somewhere in there where Gladriel was like, "Oh, the evil is so thick in here that I can't feel the warmth of the fire." Which is evil cold? I mean, I don't know. Bible kind of describes hell as a fiery hell pit. I'd imagine it'd be, kind of hot, burning in sulfur and all that. Why would evil be cold? Okay, weird choice. Uh, nonsensical. Uh, and again, these elves are like wanting to go home. and she just climbs this hill, Game of Thrones style, and there's no tension, there's no real particular conflict here of these characters because in the end we know Galadriel is right. Sauron is still somewhere out there. So I didn't really find myself caring on whether other people disagreed with Galadriel that Sauron that they should stop looking because I just know they'll she'll find him eventually and she'll be like, I told you all, I knew he was out there. Uh, it's kind of pointless. It's not as engaging as they think it is with Sauron going missing. Uh, what other scenes that I want to mention? Yeah, overall, what score should I give this thing? So far, maybe a 6 or a 7, probably a 6, because I don't remember anything about it. Again, visually beautiful, but I don't really see this getting any more good. Essentially, I expect this show to carry on like this uh, throughout the entire show. This kind of cornflakes of a show, essentially, doesn't have any taste whatsoever. Uh, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I mean, maybe they'll next episode will be like Sauron, like fighting with evil magic, blasting plasma bolts. I don't know, to make it stuff more interesting at least. I mean, like maybe that will prevent me from falling asleep, you know. But I don't think Tolkien would approve of someone blasting fireballs at elves. I don't think he does that kind of thing. He's more of like a countryside and singing trees. I did read a bit of the First of the Rings, but I stopped as soon as I got up to the singing tree. I'm like, what the hell is this? And put it down. Never looked back. I probably should read the books, to be honest. I mean, it's not. I mean, I've heard the tree bit is weird, uh, but might be a good idea to read the books to be a bit more informed about the world building in this. Um, yeah, so overall, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. This show, it's not. Gary said it was CW-ish. I didn't really feel that it was. There was no "I'm a woman" singing in the background or any uh, Gladriel saying a line. This armor will be perfection when it fits a woman. Uh, I was That's a weird thing to describe it as a CW show. It's not as bad as a CW show, but it's not that good either. Uh, and I think most normies like me feel the same way of this uh, feeling of nothingness towards this show. Essentially, uh, I'll watch the other episodes. Uh, Not because I like it in particular, but because I'd like to know what's happening, so I can listen to reviews of the show. Because there's a lot of people passionate about Tolkien that I listen to, and I like to know what's going on in the show to kind of hear their point of view of how this movie is flawed. This series, sorry, is flawed. Uh, I I hope like I really don't think this show will be getting a second season. The fans seem incredibly passionate about this show. Uh, with nothing I've ever seen like it before. Like the MCU is essentially dying. Star Wars is deader than dead in the grave. But the Tolkien and Lord of the Rings fan base seem to uh, defend their beloved franchise with all their might. It's like the last hill to die on with Gandalf saying you shall not pass to to Amazon, and I think that's interesting to see of this fight between the fans and Amazon essentially, uh, which I think we definitely need more of if we want franchises to survive. Uh, I hope this show doesn't get a second season because, good God, if the first two episodes are essentially a nothing burger, and I imagine the rest of the season is going to be nothing. They're essentially it's a generic fantasy show, and Tolkien Tolkien's world is peak fiction. Every book, every fantasy thing essentially says, "Oh, this is based on Tolkien's work because it's Tolkien's work is fundamental. It's meant to be peak fantasy." I don't see peak fantasy in this show. It's just generic cornflakes, is what I'm feeling. Uh, there's not much to it, and maybe it'll change, but I don't really. I'm not looking forward to more episodes and more seasons, and I'm going to be fascinated if it's going to carry on or will they cancel it. Uh, will the fans achieve a victory and get this show to be cancelled essentially? Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I'm curious to see whether they'll have. I I don't think this is getting 5 seasons. There's no way that this is getting 5 seasons. They can't be that confident in something that they only own a little bit of rights to. Because they don't. I don't think they own they own the rights to the essentially the prequel stuff that goes before the Lord of the Rings is what I've heard from Tolkien people, Tolkien fans. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, what score did I give it? A 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. So some people give it a 8.5 out of 10, which is a bit too much to be honest. Uh, judging what's in the show in here, yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's so good. Definitely a 6 to 5 out of 10 show. It might change as the episodes go on. I doubt it. It's on Amazon after all. Uh, Amazon don't have the best track record of any good shows. I mean, The Boys season 1, that's a good show. Uh, season 2 and 3, meh. What other popular Amazon shows are there? I don't think Amazon have the best track record of good shows. So having higher expectations for this is let's just say I'm not hopeful for this getting better. Uh, next topic I wanted to talk about, I think that'll do it for Rings of Power, is Bullet Train. I've seen that in the cinemas as well. Yeah, I know I go to the cinemas a lot. Stop screen again. Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Mm, mm. Okay, so Bullet Train. I've seen this movie in the cinemas. I've been hearing before I went to the cinemas. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this film, Gun Train. Uh, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this film, so I thought, okay, why not? I'll see this. Nothing else is on apart from seeing Top Gun another time, or what else was in the cinemas back then? I think Jurassic World Dominion. There was like no way I'm seeing that. Uh, Bullet Train was it was okay. I've heard a lot of praise about it. I expected it to be better, but I came out of it saying, okay, that was fine, I guess. The ironic thing is, I didn't really find Brad Pitt all that engaging. The most engaging characters by far were Orange and Tangerine. Uh, they were definitely the standout of the show. Uh, Spoilers, everyone, if you haven't watched this as well. Spoiler warning. I was kind of pissed off that they killed off Orange. I was hoping they'd live through it, but the fact that he did die that does show that the film managed to make me care about some characters, unlike Rings of Power. Uh, this movie was a very Guy Ritchie-esque humor. Oh, Lemon and Tangerine. Uh, I'm getting mixed up here. Was it Lemon and Tangerine? No, it was a joke. Someone said, or someone misnamed them. Thanks for that, chat. Uh, uh, I think someone misnamed them like Orange and Tangerine, but it's like no, it's Lemon. I think there was a joke in there like that, and that's probably why I got mixed up. I don't know why I called them Orange. Like, okay, that's stupid of me. Anyway, thanks, chat, for uh, yeah, yeah, the size of a tangerine. Yeah. Michael Caine there. That was my best Michael Caine impression. Uh, yeah. I was. It made me sad when a character was killed off. Uh, which just shows that they've managed to write endearing characters. Uh, the other characters were a little forgettable. I guess the guy with the samurai. That's always when someone has a samurai sword. That's cool. I guess. I was surprised to see Michael Shannon in this as the main villain. There, he's a hell of an actor. That guy. He can nail down whatever villain role you put him in. He'll nail it essentially, and he nailed it in here. Uh, yeah, Brad Pitt. He was fine, I guess. Uh, the schoolgirl, the evil anime girl. I was incredibly surprised they killed her off. Essentially, she got run over, and that was like karma to its fullest extent. I was surprised they killed her off. I thought because she's a woman, she has plot armor. Uh, but surprisingly, they did kill her off, which was one of the most satisfying deaths in to date. Uh, I like this look element of the film as well. That Brad Pitt has this kind of uh luck thing going on. Uh, kind of Uncharted style, where he keeps landing in the most unluckiest situations, and his job was just to take a briefcase, essentially, and doesn't really go down well, does it? Uh, it was a fun movie, fun popcorn flick. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I'd guess. I wanted to give it a 8 out of 10 because I've heard good things about it, but going into it and walking out of the cinema room, I guess it was a 7. Uh, I think that's all the topics I have time for. Hero, he, Herois and oh, do you mean the chat? Do you mean the guy with the samurai sword? I'm not familiar with actor names so much. Yeah. I think did he play Shredder? No, he didn't play Shredder. He was another film that I'm forgetting the title of. A recent one. Uh, the kind of yeah, the father. Yes, the sword guy. Yes. It- I think he's good in everything. Uh, he's in essentially. I've seen him from somewhere before, but I can't really remember. I'm blanking on other movies he's been in, but I remember like every time I see him, I'm happy to see every time I'm see him in any movie. Uh, he was kind of had like this exchange with Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt was like, How about no story?" And essentially, he was kind of like this old man eager to tell someone his little stories and myths, and it's just like this kind of banter going back and forth. That was fun to see. Uh, yeah, I think Michael Shannon was a great villain. Uh, I've never seen like someone Russian go into like essentially a yakuza clan. That's a unique idea for a villain. I found that interesting, and uh, Last Samurai. Yes, he was in Last Samurai. Uh, he was in Last Samurai. He's been in other movies as well, but I can't remember exactly. Uh, anyway, chat. Yes, uh, I had. I think that's all the topics I have for today. I kind of came into this live stream kind of guns blazing, not really planned out all that too much, but I think this was a fun experiment. Uh, Let me know if you guys would like more live streams, guests in. I guess I'll try to have guests sometime, but everyone I know essentially is on American time, so probably everyone's sleeping right now. For me, it was during the day, so British time. Uh, so yeah, guys, let me know if you'd like to see more live streams like this. I'll probably prepare more stuff like a intro video, with some music, and I could edit something together, like I do for the all the edits I do on my channel. Let me know what you'd like for me to discuss in the future. Any other movies. Uh, Next time, I think I'm going to uh, write down more notes essentially, so I can remember what happens in Ring of Power. Because I think the most detailed I've been on was the Spider-Man talk. Oh, any memes in the works? No, not really. Uh, uh, which is why I thought I would do a live stream, kind of, talk about stuff that's content, right? Uh, Again, like I always, comment down in my videos if you'd like to see any suggestions for any other memes in particular, any show, whether it's Friday Night Tights, EFAP, or etc. Uh, and yeah, let me know if you'd like to see more live streams. This was a fun experiment, a bit unprofessional, but I think I'll get the hang of this guy soon. This was first live stream, and it didn't go too badly, did it? Now, uh, maybe you guys can give me like a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the live stream department. So that'll be all for today. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys later in the next live stream or in the comments of another meme video. Bye, guys.